My uncle didn't invite me to his wedding. I think it's time to crash it.
Hey, it's wedding crashes over here.
I agree. Would I be the a-hole if I crashed my uncle's wedding? We don't know who's invited. For names, I'll just use middle names. I, Marie, 21 female, don't have the best relationship with my mom, Lynn, brother, Joseph the Third.
That's the middle name?
Interesting.
How do you have the third in your middle name?
Don't question, OP.
It was Mike Joseph the Third Smith.
And sister, Marie.
Okay.
So it's the mom's brother and sister and uncle, who I am named after. To start, I was always attached to both my aunts, Marie and Joseph's ex, as a kid. So is my brother, Joseph, 23 male. We might need to get the whiteboard in a minute.
Yeah, honestly, that's a lot of... We've already got didn't we have a Joseph the Third already?
That's a lot of names.
Now we had Joseph the Third, and now we have 2 more Josephs.
We have Joseph the Third, Marie and Marie, I think.
It's Mariah.
No,
This one's actually Marie.
One's Marie.
This one's
I know. I see it.
I don't care.
Making sure I'm gonna get through your thick skull, John.
He's named after our great grandpa. Everyone's just named after each other. My brother and I are both on the spectrum, so we sometimes have trouble with social cues. I also suffer from Lyme disease, anxiety, depression, PTSD, and pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorders associated with streptococcal infections.
And the acronym for that is PANDAS.
And the acronym is PANDAS.
Way too friendly of an acronym for
cute.
something that sounds so bad.
It's kind of crazy that John can read that okay, but can't say Mariah, right?
You're never gonna live that one down.
I deserve it.
You're gonna
I
live that one
deserve.
forever.
I deserve all of
I'm
it.
just like, okay, 1 time it's okay, 2 time okay. It was like 5 times, John.
It's a little hard to explain sometimes. I get it. But on my end, it was like I was a puppet controlled by someone else. 2020 did a special on it, or just YouTube what happens. By the way, this comes from OK Florida Girl 13 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Wow. The irony there.
Florida girl.
My uncle's the type of person who can't understand a disability without that disability showing. Think being deaf, blind, paraplegic, or someone with cerebral palsy. Right. He does not, respect disabilities that aren't like
the kind of guy
right
who's
in your
like,
face.
oh, what? You got anxiety? What? Why don't you just relax?
Rub some dirt on it.
You got pandas? Those are cute.
Yeah.
Wrong, uncle.
Yeah.
Freaking wrong.
You got pandas?
Wrong.
I don't see them.
My aunt, Mary, is my godmother, who changed a lot when she had her daughter, Jane, 14 female, but she always treated us well. Another thing you should know is that my mom married an extremely a-hole man and divorced him in 2003. So if you did the math, I grew up without a dad. And my Aunt Marie went to school like 15 minutes from them, so she watched my brother all the time and graduated the year I was born and moved to NYC a month before I was born. Do we have the whiteboard anywhere? My mom is also a teacher, so she doesn't make much, so I learned that I wouldn't get everything I wanted in my childhood. But it's okay to go to this. It's okay.
Oh, it's okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay,
I appreciate your effort,
to
though.
take point on that.
It's all good.
All right.
But I'm very grateful that the thing she could give me, not that I really tell her much, which I am the a-hole for, but she doesn't understand me. My grandparents helped a lot with my mom as she had to move in with them after the divorce, but they didn't do anything that a grandparent wouldn't do if they didn't take the role of another parent, but did what they would have if everyone lived close. Meaning, I think, they took, I think basically it'd be saying yeah, they took us in, but it wasn't like that big of a deal. I feel like we're being set up to where the grandparents are not the greatest people, even though they did take OP in.
Yeah,
I think that's what OP's saying.
I'm going to trust your translation on that.
Here we go. So my aunt moved to France about 2 years ago just because she married rich, but she also makes probably double, if not triple what my mom makes. And my uncle makes more than my mom, but not as much as my aunt. So my uncle lives in North Carolina. So my grandparents would travel for what they could at the time. My cousins and I are extremely close in age. And my older cousin, Joseph the Fourth. Is that 4?
Yeah, that is 4.
Golly.
Too many Josephs.
Too many Josephs is 21 male.
Joseph, Joey, Joe.
For all the
Honestly,
people.
I appreciate the numbers. The numbers is easier. And younger cousin Rose is 20 female. More characters as if we needed more. So, sorry, I know this is going to be super long, but there's a lot to explain. So, my aunt This is the uncle's ex, wish we had the whiteboard, is an amazing mom and aunt to all my childhood memories from trips that we had her in. And my Aunt Marie feels the same as me, that she's always going to be family, and we are heartbroken about their divorce. This is, by the way, I think the uncle that's about to be married.
Yeah.
I believe. They're siding with his, ex, it seems.
It does seem like the uncle is on the outs.
Yes.
A little bit.
So my cousin Rose had almost stopped talking to / seeing him, the uncle, but didn't. It's safe to say that her mom is her best friend and really gets her. Uncle Joseph has never really cared for having me around as a kid, and even more so now, probably because I call him out on things like when he's being an a-hole to my brother or me or my mom. He's even said that it is word for word told my grandma that I'm crazy and that I'll wind up in trouble.
What a cool thing to say about somebody.
I think you'll wind up in the Ort Cloud. That's where I think you're headed. We're not there yet, but it's you're building your bridge, my friend.
You're in Ort Cloud territory.
I met his fiance, who has been very nice to me after he told her God knows what. And I do like her, but our family thinks that she's controlling. I have no problem with them getting married, but my brother and I asked the same thing when we talked to our mom. Am I, Marie, invited to the wedding? And I want to be there considering that I do like her, the fiance that he's marrying, and I'm his sister's daughter, and my younger cousin Jane is going. Something you should know is that Jane has gotten everything she wanted and she copies me a lot. For example, when I started riding horses when I was 7 years old, when she found out I started riding again, 2 months later, she started riding at the fanciest place you could find and leased a horse. Because remember, they grew up rich. But yeah. OP's got a single mom who's a teacher.
We lease our horses here. That's our tax bracket.
I didn't even know that was possible. I design and make clothes for fun, as well as other things that I do with my art. And when I showed her mom my sketchbook, almost a month later, she started designing almost identically to mine.
They copied my whole flow.
Dude.
Word for word.
Bit the flow.
Bar for bar.
I'm also very into theater, and I'm actually auditioning for AMDA this winter. She starts singing Broadway songs and going to shows. My dream is to rescue animals and have a ranch for that. If you've guessed, that's what she said just a week later. You're right. And on, etc., etc. So the point is, she copies.
She got a copycat.
Yes.
It's called inspiration.
True.
And I'm doing it better than you.
Ooh, them's his fighting words.
I just got inspired.
Jane also thinks that she's the best thing to happen to this family. At least that's the vibe she gives. When we went to Europe last summer to visit them and see different places, but when she was still in New York, she lived in East Hampton and went to Ross School, where Hugh Jackman's son went there. Now Hugh Jackman's son is in the mix.
Hugh jacked, man.
He is.
Hugh's jacked, man.
Huge Ackman.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's schools like that out here, too, where it's like, people just want to send their kids there because it's like, oh, so-and-so goes there.
That's true.
Went there.
That's true. My grandparents' mom, Aunt Marie, Uncle Edward, Jane, and baby Edward, 3 male. Another person sharing a name.
Uncle Edward and baby Edward.
Baby Edward.
So we've got 2 Edwards and 5 Josephs?
And Uncle Joseph, he's the prime villain here. He is like arch nemesis number
1 or 2 or 3.
At this point, we could probably figure out who these people are because she just said these are all middle names.
Yes.
Easy to find: Joseph the Third, Joseph the Fourth, baby Edward.
Oh God! So, baby Edward was 2 at the time.
I think everyone in this family is copying everyone here. They're copying each other's names.
The whole
they're copying
family.
each other's clothes.
Dude.
Oh, man. Unoriginal.
Even baby Edward can't escape the gravity sucking his family into drama. Oh, my God, yo. Oh, God. Dude, I'm literally crying.
Even baby Edward.
Okay. We're serious. We're for reals. So he was 2 at the time, and they rented a 4-bed, 1.5 bath house like 2 hours away from Paris. With them, they had 1 bedroom that had a king-size bed, 2 that had queen beds, and the other 2 had twin-size beds. Basically, a freaking palace in Paris. We, grandparents, mom, and me, were doing a trip, 5 countries, 14 days. So they got there first. So what bedrooms did they take? The king and the twins. To be fair, the place gave us a porta-crib for the baby.
Yes.
Of course, baby Edward.
For baby Edward.
How could we forget him? And Europeans' cars are so small, so it was nice of them to do. And they did put it in the twin room, the baby crib. But we thought the grandparents would take the king bed unless they didn't want to. It's upstairs. My mom and I would take the twins with the baby, and they would get the queen. But what really happened?
Yeah, what really happened?
Well, Dakota.
Let's figure it out.
They gave us the musty, dusty, crusty, disgusting queen bed up a very steep stairs, which my mom, she has really bad allergies and a bad bag and legs from
I
sports.
think you don't need to put the allergies in there. Just put the bad back for
It's
the
musty.
stairs. Oh, okay. Never
musty.
mind. Musty. I'm sorry.
Disgusting.
I'm sorry.
Fell down trying to carry the laundry. They expected my mom and I to share a bed and just have an empty twin bed. One of them could have there was an empty twin bed, but they didn't want them to take the empty twin bed, I guess.
They wanted to use that one for laundry.
Or
Is that what they
have
just
them
said?
not use it.
Who are these people?
So-
This story is hurting my brain.
Yeah, dude, there's
so
too many
far.
names here where I can't even.
What does any of this have to do with crashing your uncle's wedding?
There's too much context that I don't need this context.
Like, come on.
We're getting there.
Get to the
I
juice.
promise you, baby Edward's story on face.
Baby Edward's very detrimental to this story.
Dude, he is the card that tumbles out of the cards. Okay. So
Baby Edward is the Vince Vaughn to Owen Wilson in the Wedding Crashers movie. He is critical to this entire thing.
I ended up asking Evil Jane the next day if I could sleep in the extra bed, and she said it's a small room, the ceilings were low, but all I brought up was a blanket, pillow, and electronics, and she said, okay. We even offered to give her the queen room if she wanted her own room and have me and my mom take that room with the baby. That's the 2 twin beds and the baby. She later threw a fit like a toddler, some would say like baby Edward, relevant, who didn't get candy, saying it's not fair how she can't even go to her own room to relax. Mind you, I had headphones on or was asleep and didn't really talk to her unless I wanted to have a conversation with her. So I think you can see why it would bother me that I wouldn't be invited.
Indeed. I can see that.
Basically, OP and her mom seem like the ugly duckling of the family in many ways. And Jane is treated as this queen. She's invited
She's
to the
a
wedding.
swan.
She's a swan.
Swan Queen.
So Evil Jane is invited to the wedding. OP's like, I'm not invited? Like, if Evil Jane's going to go, let me go. What the heck? I was also helping with the baby Edward, like his bedtime routine dictates, and watching him at home. And when we go out, mind you, I wasn't getting paid. I work as a babysitter, and I usually get paid for that kind of thing.
Oh, you're not getting paid until Baby Edward's trust fund kicks in.
until the full plot unfolds and Baby Edward takes over.
Baby Edward doesn't have his money's already tied up in other enterprises.
You think Evil Uncle and Evil Jane are the ones to worry about?
Dude.
Oh no.
The ringleader is evil Baby Edward.
You are currently raising and nurturing a villain of epic proportions.
Yeah, Stewie Griffin.
Eventually, I could tell that I wasn't wanted, which I have now learned to pick up on after years of being bullied and excluded. They always make comments about my body, which I'm always self-conscious of, about usually how I have curves, cellulite, and a bit of flab on my stomach. Mind you, Jane is my size, if not bigger. I'm proud to say I fit into some of my clothes from middle school. I was put on a medication around 5th grade, and it caused me to gain a lot of weight, which is hard to lose. So when people, especially family, make comments on my diet or how I look, I really take it to heart. I'm trying to not let it bother me because I compliment almost everyone to build them up. And I say everyone's beautiful in their own way, which I truly believe.
Well, that's beautiful.
The comments got so bad that I was considering things, but the guy I loved saved me for the second time by saying things I needed to hear, telling me that I could be bigger and he'd still find me pretty. He knows my history, that I have PTSD when I was 16, and that was the first time that he saved me. That bit is related because everyone judges me for my relationship with him, especially my aunt and my uncle Joseph, but he is my rock, the shoulder I cry on, the person I ran to, and the man I want to be with forever. I sense wedding bells in OP's future.
Yeah, hey, when you know, sometimes you know.
But Will baby Edward?
No more baby Edward.
We don't know yet.
Bring in Joe. Bring in Uncle Joe.
Okay.
Baby Edward's plotting in that porta crib.
Evil Uncle Joseph is our main concern right now. So he's agreed to go with me so I don't get mad and can get me out of there when they start commenting on me. By the way, you can always comment on our live streams. Every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, we go live. Just tap the profile, join in. It's on YouTube, it's on Twitch,
Bang.
on Facebook. Just join
YouTube,
us.
Facebook, Twitch, TikTok. We might even be live right now if you're watching this in the future.
So both my mom and grandma said that if I'm not invited, they won't go. So now we're getting a boycott going.
Now
We're getting a mutiny.
the mutiny has begun.
Yes.
At the end of the story.
I was trying to hold it in.
We're almost we're good. We got it.
We're literally
We
so
got
close.
it.
Okay. Both my mom and my grandma said that if I'm not invited, that they won't go. But I don't want that for him. His mom should be there to walk him down the aisle, and I don't want to give my aunt and uncle another thing to say about me. They think that my grandparents see me as their kid. Remember the grandparents that like housed her initially way back when? They might be good, possibly too. We don't know. I thought they were evil, but maybe I was wrong. I just live with them and now near them, so I see them a lot, but their other grandkids lived states away, so they can't be there all the time when they live here. Sorry again for the length of this, but I want his family to be at his wedding, and they won't go if I'm not invited, so I'm thinking of crashing his wedding so they're there for him. So, would I be the a-hole?
I'm gonna need some TLDRs here because I'm so lost.
Don't ask them for me because I'm just as lost,
I'm
bro.